feel
All
like
right,
I
we're
did this.
dancing. We're dancing. Let's go, Taha.
Welcome back to the Winner Circle, everybody. I'm super excited to be back for another episode this week with a fellow MMA fighter. We're all MMA fighters on this call, so I'm stoked to talk about that and just everything else that's going on in this man's life. The goal with this podcast is to bring you guys people who are winning in the real world. And what winning means is following your passions, listening to your heart's desire, and just going for it no matter the adversity that you may face, even if it's against what your parents say is right to do, if it's against what society says would be successful, you're still doing it because it's what your heart's telling you to do. So Derek, please introduce our guest for this week.
Right on. I'm super stoked to introduce you to our guest, Taha, and our audience to our guest. I met him a year and a bit ago, maybe, at one of his seminars, an MMA seminar. It was unreal. Not only was his martial arts and his wrestling prowess so wonderful, and he was sharing it so beautifully. We also had the opportunity to connect off the mats as well, and that same kindness, that same passion on the mats, he has that for life. So our guest, an American-Mexican martial artist competing in Bellator MMA's featherweight division, a professional competitor since 2011. He has a 19-4 professional MMA record, has fought for the Bellator Featherweight World Championship, and is currently a quarter-finalist in the $1 million Bellator Featherweight World Grand Prix. Emmanuel, the Matador, Sanchez, welcome to the Winner Circle, brother.
Thanks for having me on, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're really stoked to have this conversation. You're a really inspiring guy, and we want to inspire with this conversation. So
absolutely.
The first question we ask all our guests, and I feel this is an important thing to be aware of for our guests and for us all. And if we don't know, there's no better time to start thinking about this than the now. And that is, what is your mission, Emmanuel? What is your mission here on Earth, on this planet? What are you here to serve?
Question. My mission has always been to, I guess, to help people. But really, more than anything, it's the selfish side of me, man, is just wanting to be, achieve my goals and turn my dreams into reality. So, as a kid, someone always tells you, you know what I mean? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? And it took me a long time to think and figure it out. And there's many other things that, I'm sure have crossed your mind over the years that what you could want to be when you think about what you want to be and what you want to do when you grow up. And now that I'm near 30 years of age, I still have the same, I guess, like kid mentality thing that I've always wanted to be. Right now I'm being able to live that life, being able to do what I love for a living, but I still haven't accomplished my dream of becoming a world champion. So in that sense, that's where I'm selfish, where all my hard work and dedication and time goes, because I have a dream, I have a mission, I have a goal. And, I don't want to sleep or stop until I reach that goal. And outside of that, spread peace, love, and positivity, man, and Hakuna Matata for everybody, and show that martial arts, jiu-jitsu is for everyone, kickboxing is for everyone. And I understand everyone has their own life goals or goals with martial arts and anything else like through that. And I feel like because I've been put on this platform and all the things that I've learned and grown and experienced in my life, I'm able to share that with other people too. So I feel like if I could be some inspiration, some motivation to someone too, that honestly, that wasn't my overall intention when I first started fighting. I believe that's just a weight that's been put on my shoulders now, because that's what happens when you reach that level. People naturally are going to gravitate towards you and I guess want to be like you, you know what I mean? But I don't want anybody to be like me. I didn't want to be like Mike, you know what I mean? For as kids in our era, in our generation, obviously Michael Jordan was, that's a big name that everybody, clings to. So in my heart, in my mind, in my eyes, I never, in any big role model, you would say, I guess, or any big icon. I never, I guess, saw them and put them on a pedestal and saw them as, you know, gods or people. What they've accomplished was something that was unreachable. I always thought, I'm like, hey man, if, you know, why not? I could try it out too. Why not? And if I come to find out I can't, all right, at least I can say I did my best. I can't, I won't lie to myself. I'll actually apply myself and I'll do my best. You know, and if I come to find out it's not my thing, well, it's still something I like to do. I mean, I try to dunk so many times in basketball. I suck at basketball, but play. So you get what I'm saying? I mean, it was never my intention to, I guess, want to motivate or inspire someone to do something that way. The thought never crossed my mind. I just wanted to be successful for myself. I always did it for myself. You know, I never did it for, you know, fame and money or I guess notoriety, anything that, you know, in that sense. I always did it because myself, I want to make myself proud. I want to say to myself and look myself in the mirror and say, yeah, damn right, I did it. And I knew I could. So I believed in myself and I worked hard and I did it. And if that could help motivate and inspire somebody, then you know what I mean? I feel like I've, with what I was, you know, aforementioned of all the experiences that I've had and everything that I've grown and learned and traveled throughout the world and people that I've been able to meet and train with, all given to martial arts, I'm able to help other generations or other people that share that same dream too, whether it is being a world champion or anything that has to do with martial arts or whatever it is in life. I can help people, you know, use that story, I guess, to make their dream come true too. Because obviously me using Mike Tyson's or Michael Jordan's or any of the great Mikes, Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just be like all the Mikes, you know what I mean? Just make it happen.
Absolutely.
All the magic Mikes, you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's so common for people who are having role models to put them on pedestals, and they're really just other people. And if you consider somebody, you know, above you, then you're kind of like saying that you're below them. But what Derek helped me realize when we first met was we're all at the same level. We're on the same path. We're just at different points along the way. Some people have had more time, spent more time working really hard to get where they are. It doesn't mean that you have to, you know, like you're never going to get there. You have to put in the work. You have to believe in yourself, but it doesn't, having these people above you in your mind doesn't help. I think it really helps to realize like they're just humans. We're all just humans. We all are capable of the same thing if we put our heart and soul into it. So that's beautiful that you kind of had these people that helped you realize the power within you and know that you can get there too.
Absolutely. That's a good way to put it.
And all along the process, all along the journey, we learn different tools. Maybe we're aiming for this one thing, and who knows what doors that opens. But when we're following our heart, doors will open that we otherwise wouldn't have seen. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. And by you going for your win, by going for that belt, by being the best in the world at martial arts, you're doing so much more. One thing I remember you for, Emmanuel, is how kind you were to everyone in the gym. You are a world-class fighter. You have all this success. You could have went in there, nose in the air, but no, you gave everyone the time. And you showed an example in your character that really touched me, and that goes forth with me in all the interactions I meet. I try to remember that humility you carried, along with the confidence, and that comes from you pursuing your win, your passion. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course, man. Appreciate it. I just, as far as I go with that, man, I mean, thankfully, over anyone you want to say famous, I guess, or anyone at that level, you know, I thank God, me personally, I haven't met anyone that was too arrogant or towards me or towards other people, I guess. Because if I did, I'd probably call him out on it, or I'll be honest, I'd probably keep it to myself and think this person's an asshole. I'm not going to talk to him anymore. I'm not going to, I'm going to tell people on how this person's kind of an asshole, you know what I mean? And why they shouldn't be a fan of them. But I just, for me, as a strong man of faith as I am too, I just know how hard and how long it took me to accomplish the things that I wanted to accomplish, and how, I guess, grateful I am for it. I'm nobody to think, how Taya was mentioning earlier, that I'm better than anyone else. You know what I mean? I don't see myself above anyone else. I see myself as a normal human being who just pursued his dream of being a mixed martial arts champion. So I really don't feel there's anything special about me. If I said I wanted to go play pro football or pro hockey or pro tennis or pro golf or pro poker, I feel everyone should respect me the same. Even if I wanted to be the best damn janitor at your local, high school or whatever, I do what I got to do to provide for my family, make myself happy, live a happy, healthy life, and, still be a good human being. And again, spread peace, love, positivity, and Hakuna Matata for everybody, because I do know too, if I was to get arrogant, or if I was to think I was better than anyone else, you get humbled pretty quickly in life, and then anything, and I just know how grateful I am to be the position I'm in, and how what a great, I guess, not only just platform, but just position in life, position in MMA, position in anything, skill level. I remember what it was like first starting out. So the last thing, I'm sure someone else who won first starting out is be told that, they're never going to make her, be told, to get laughed at, etc., whatever. So I just, we all got the same dream and the same goal. You know what I mean? You all want to just obviously better your jiu-jitsu, better your martial arts. And that's just part of being a martial artist, the humility you learn from martial arts. There is no room for egos and, attitudes and arrogance when you're a martial artist. There's no such thing. That's not a real black belt.
Totally.
So how did your martial arts journey begin, Emmanuel? Could you explain that to our audience? How did this whole journey, where was the origin to this, to the...
Oh, I was right out of high school, man. I was telling people over and over again, I was like, man, you know what? And I was scared too. I won't lie, I was scared because I knew they would laugh at me. I knew they would. I was telling all my friends and family and people, man, I really want to try this MMA thing. I really want to try fighting. I don't know why, but I feel like, if I'm disciplined, if I work hard, if I train like all the guys that I watch on these UFC countdowns, or anyone, I just feel like as long as you, dedicate yourself and commit yourself to your craft, you should be able to be successful. And surprisingly enough, the rest is history, I guess. Yeah, I got a lot of people laugh at me, a lot of friends and family, telling me all the same thing, that, I'm like, man, you see how hard those guys train? Or, man, you know how hard that is, man. You're going to get your ass kicked and this and that. And yeah, I guess I've gotten my ass kicked, you know what I mean? But I leave it only in the gym. At least let your ass get kicked in the gym, not in the fight, So I've, over these years, just known if you cross every T, dot every I, and really apply yourself and really believe in yourself and really give it all you got, and to really believe you're the best, honestly, just have confidence. Even after my first fight, I felt like, why is Dana White not calling me right now? I'm like, I should be in the UFC right now. That's, I guess, how I felt. But I just knew I could do it. So if I just knew, and even after my first fight, man, and 3 months of training too, with no wrestling background, no striking background. All I ever did was play every sport as a kid. My mom signed me up for every sport as a kid. So that's why this is someone you wouldn't think is a fighter, or would end up as a fighter. And I've just always known I've been competitive. In fourth grade, I lost a kickball tournament. And I remember we took second place and I started crying. I've never seen that trophy again. But I remember looking at the other class, just how happy they were when they had that trophy, and that pain hurt so bad, dude. And that still sticks with me to this day. So, I just that's how competitive I am. I hate to lose more than I love to win. So I just, ever since then, I guess, and any little thing that I do too, no matter what, I just have that drive, man. If you've watched The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, really, that came as no surprise to me. Like, I've already watched many different documentaries and interviews and countdowns with Michael Jordan or Dennis Rodman or Scottie Pippen or all of them, right? Phil Jackson, etc. But when you really hear and think inside the mind of like how deep that went and around that era, around that time, and now I have the maturity as an adult and as a man to process that, like, it makes much more sense now. It's definitely much more motivating than it was when I was just 17. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, that just makes you want to just go train because, he's a champ and he's the best. So that's what you want to do. Now I can actually process that more and really understand and know what it takes, and now I'm glad that, I said, like, I'm on that platform to be able to accomplish all those dreams and to help others, whatever dream or goal that they have too, know that they can accomplish it as well too. So it's just a very, very deep passion of mine, man. So I started when I was 17. I've been fighting since I was 18. So 3 months after training, I had my first fight. And I have more than 30 fights now. I've been fighting for 12 years. And martial arts has taken me everywhere. I've had the pleasure to go out and train in, or not even just, doing seminars up there like with you, but where I was like learning or where I was training and learning from other people or et cetera, cross training. It's taken me to Mexico, to California, to Vegas, and that's when I lived out in Oregon as well too. I was driving to all these places with teammates and friends while I was there at the time. So I've got to experience and see all over the U.S. and how great it's been, man, to say like, oh, wow, yeah, man. In 2011, I started my pro career out here. I fought in damn near Canada as well, too, on the border, pretty much in Washington, Canada. Fought in California, anywhere, but actually I haven't fought Vegas yet. That's just about like where it's took me. I mean, I got to fly across the world and fight for a world title in Israel, man. So, I mean,
Wow.
That still gives me, I don't know, like, it still blows my mind sometimes to think, like when I was on the plane ride to think from Chicago to Poland and then Poland to Israel. I'm like, damn, we're really in Israel right now, and I'm really here to fight. Like, I'm really here to fight. How many other people like just like thinking in your lifetime too, to think like some dude who just grew up in a little town of a population of probably about 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 now, but back in my time, 8,000. A graduating class of maybe it was supposed to be, I think, 205. I think we only had 180 something. It was very small school, small people. You know what I mean? Like, I just, they say, come from nothing, make from nothing to something. And to me, it doesn't matter where you come from or what you've done or anything. You can accomplish whatever you want to accomplish.
Totally.
It's your heart, your mind, and your will, man. It's truly.
Yeah. And I think it's awesome to hear that you started fighting at 17, competing at 18. Most people would think that somebody successful had to start when they were like 5, and it's just, it's never too late to start following your dreams and just doing what you love to do. It's no different if you start from when you're 5 and you start when you're 35. Like, it's all the same. You're just listening to that passion, following your heart's desire, and then you just improve because it's what you love. I love what you said about knowing that you could do it and having the confidence in yourself to become successful, because you could be really good, but if you don't believe that you're going to win, then you're not going to win. I experienced this when I started realizing that I was like getting better at wrestling and maybe I could win states. It wasn't even something that passed my mind before, but then I started getting into it. And my junior year, I was going into my semifinals match, and I was actually wrestling my best friend who I had been on the national teams with, and we were like neck and neck all the time, and my mentality was just like out of fear. Like I didn't believe that I could win, and that is what really made the decision on what was going to happen in that match. Because if I believed in myself, I would have gone for way more shots. I would have, you know, worked way harder to get out. But when you are working from that space of fear, like you don't believe that it's going to happen, so you're not going to take those action steps in those seconds that matter, you know. And that match just like broke me. Like I totally agree with you that I hate losing so much more than I like winning. Like I hate it, but I do love it, because that's where I've learned some of the biggest lessons that I've ever learned is from losing. And then it helps me win later on, you know? So when I went for my senior year states, I just knew, like, it was something that it was non-negotiable. It was going to happen. And it's all about what's going on in your mind. You know, if you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. If you believe it, it's going to happen. You just have to really feel it in your heart and know it, like it's happening. And then the actions that need to be taken to get there will happen. But if you have no faith, then there's no chance, you know? So I think the number one thing is just to believe in yourself and know that if you want it, it's yours. You just have to have that faith in yourself to get there.
Absolutely.
So
Until you try
we
that, it's already yours.
Yeah.
So when we had Steve Maxwell, BJJ legend Steve Maxwell, on a while back, we talked about fear, and he's called fear false events appearing real. How do you overcome fear? That's the number one thing that holds people back. How do you overcome it?
Man, I'm gonna probably like blow your mind right now.
Please.
I was just never afraid. I was just never afraid. I just always had it in my heart, my mind, and my soul. Just, no matter what, just be fearless. I feel like when it's my time, it's my time. So if it's on my motorcycle, if it's in my car, if it's walking the street, if it's in the ring, if it's on a plane, man, like life is too short and too sweet. So I just always knew, like, anytime I was about to go out and fight, I was just thinking the moment. Because some people, you know what I mean? Man, I was really young, kind of close to around the years where I was fighting, but it was near my birthday. I had 3 really close friends to me die, and one night in a car accident, and I just knew, I'm like, man, these girls were only like a year older than me, or even a couple of months. And you just start to think, like, of just how sweet and how precious life is, you know. Like, just around that time, you start to get your license, you're starting to go out and drive, and just, I guess, really think, that's not really enjoying life, bro. That's just still, you know, like almost hatching, because you're still a baby. Like, when you think about it, legally being able to drive and to have all that happen for you, you know what I mean, and then to have it all taken away. So it's just, that's another thing where I tell people again about going for your dreams, and no matter what, making it happen, because you only live once, you're only young once, and you know how they say too, you only die once, right? So people, they say, no, you live every day, you only die once. But then no matter what, dude, the truth is behind it is that life is too short. And again, with this pandemic that's going on right now too, it's too sweet. So no matter what, I choose not to hold on to any negativity, to any fear, to any anxiety. And that's, I guess, what I've always carried with me. Anytime that I've took on anything, and I'd be lying if I said that if there wasn't other realistic things in my mind. Obviously, yeah, the fear of getting knocked out, the fear of getting hurt, the fear of getting hospitalized, the fear of never fighting again, the fear of whatever. But just like all old movie quotes, man, and all things that I say and I do in my life, is just, life's a risk, man. Like, no risk, no reward. So, you know, Jim Carrey said it best to some people when they're going out getting their, you know, their doctorates. It's like about his father taking a safe job instead of going for his dream, and he got fired from that safe job. So see, no matter what, you could fail at either one of those things. So you might as well fail at doing what you love. You know what I mean? You took that safe job, but you got let go. So you know what I mean? Like, I get it. Everyone on my end, hey, you should probably go to school. Hey, you should probably get this. Hey, what if this fighting thing doesn't work out for you? Hey, what if you get injured? Hey, what if you do this? Well, yeah, I agreed with all that, but I'm like, well, what if I go out and I become one of the best to ever do it? What if I go undefeated for 20 wins straight? What if I break records? What if I do something that no other fighter has ever done before? If you want to say just what if, well, then there's all these other what ifs too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and my family still, man, to this day, I still, specifically one uncle, and he's only one family member of mine to go to college. And he was supposed to get his PhD this year, but this pandemic and everything that happened, it slowed that down. But he's still a man who's still, even though he's going through his PhD, still does more schooling, still works at the college, still does more undergrad and overgrad. I don't know what kind of grad school, all kinds of grad shit that I don't know about. Dude, I never went to college. I was supposed to go to community college. I went to community college. So all I know is basic math and some basic science and honestly basic life and street skills. So I have street smarts and other things to help me and, to make things happen. But as far as numbers and anything else, I suck. But at least one thing that I know, again, being a man of faith, a man of passion, and being whether it was walking into the ring, whether it was not having enough money to pay my bills or tax season coming up or whatever kind of fear that it was to me, it was just I choose to fight that fear with faith. So I just always knew, again, because of my faith and knowing that God has always got my back and something better for me, that I'd be all right. You know what I mean? That my gift would make room for me. My gift would take care of me, whatever it was. And even at the end of the day, somehow, some way, I would still be smart. It's not like I'd be dumb and be like, well, I'm broke, so what am I going to do? I have to go and get on a job. Right now, some MMA stuff and training will have to be put on pause. Or right now, I'm hurt. I can't fight, so I got to do all these other things, or I think of these other situations, but I still never let that, or even coming off a loss, you know what I mean, off some fights. I never think, well, I'm probably going to get cut, or I'm probably going to, I never thought that. I just knew, all right, I got to get better and be better, and I will be better. And the next guy is going to pay for it for the last guy, and then I'm going to get that guy back too. That's just the way I look to go at things. That's, I guess, how I took it even at school. If I got an F in school, I'd own up to it. But I'm like, all right, I better get ready for the next test or the next grade period, whatever it was, because otherwise I'm not going to pass this class. I'm not going to graduate. And then what am I going to do? So I've always held myself accountable, and I've always let myself, I never let myself slip or be weak or follow the crowd or anything like that. No, none of that kind of pressure. I'd always just knew I got to do this for myself, or at the time too, I'm such a mama's boy. I'd break my mom's heart, if she saw a bad report card or bad whatever that I was in school or whatever. So I'd always be on my best behavior or do my best to make her proud for all that she was sacrificing, everything she was doing to make, me better, my sisters better, and coming from humble beginnings, having nothing, even crying to sign us up for school, for how much that was a struggle. So I knew I had to stop, I guess, and no fear, no worries of just being like, what, no matter what, I'm going to pass. That's the way I see it, is that I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And I did. And that's, I don't know, I call that a very, some may call that a very arrogant, I guess, or maybe even cocky, borderline cocky mentality. But I'm the type of person to never give up and never quit until I get what I want, and, or what my heart desires or what my goal was to make happen. Because if I don't do that, what else am I going to do, right? Whatever that goal was, that particular goal was at the time, you know what I mean? And no matter what, man, just make it happen. Make it happen.
That is, I think so many people can take this message from you, because you hit on two such important points. Your thoughts create your reality. you believed that this was going to happen. This is going to happen for you. So many of the other people that were asking you, what if, you fail, blah, blah, blah. They're living in fear and the possibility that it's not going to happen. That didn't even occur for you because you knew the possibility that you could be successful was possible. So that's what you created for your reality. And then also, what is the fact that you didn't allow your past or those failures to affect your present and future how it usually does for people? Because usually if people start building evidence that they're failing in a certain way, getting a bad grade, losing a fight, they allow that fear of that happening again to really dictate their future. However, you were saying, I'm going to learn from this and I'm going to get better. And I'm just going to keep doing that, keep doing that, keep doing that. And what's got to happen? You've got to get better and learn more and more and more and live for the present moment and what you need to do to get better for that present moment rather than worrying about the past and the future. So that was beautiful. The point you had on fear as well, and living in the moment because of how fragile life is. I can relate on knowing some people that were just gone in an instant and we have no idea what's going to happen. We have no idea if somebody or ourselves or whatever is going to be gone at any moment. Like there's so many possibilities, and understanding that all we have is this moment right now and then now and then now is so powerful because again, we're so, as a society, a collective, we're worrying about things that happened in the past and oh my gosh, how are we going to survive for the future? But like, we don't know if that's going to happen. We don't know if that's we're ever going to get there. And learning how to take the correct actions to set you up for getting where you want to go while not letting it steal anything from the current moment is so powerful and really hard to do. But the more that it's just like building a muscle in the gym. The more that you build that muscle in your way of being by, what do I need to do right now in this moment? What am I doing? What's in front of me? Right. And just focusing on that as best you can is just such a way to live life with so much more ease and peace and excitement, because you can release all of that negativity that we've kind of taken on by living in the society that we live in.
Absolutely. So many people just want to give up,
Yeah.
I feel like that's the thing, bro, with fear and defining it, you face everything and rise, or you forget everything and run, or everything else, all the other acronyms that they have for fear. But honestly, man, so many people just want to take the easy way out. I feel a lot of times it's just, well, damn, I failed, or well, you want to just, it's all right to cry. You just dry your eyes and honestly pick yourself back up. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sensitive person, and I've done my fair share of crying, and I still always will. And I feel like that's something that most people can't come to terms with too, their own emotions, because they're so afraid. So they want to take the easy way out of just, hit the safe way, or, hey, I'll just do it this way, or, hey, yeah, maybe the smart way, whatever they want to, the world, right, considers it. But if you just never give up, man, I gotta tell you, beautiful things happen when you just never give up. Like, that's the best way to put it.
Yes.
So let's talk about some of your mentors that help you on your path, that help you realize these beautiful truths.
I've had so many over the years. Great, jiu-jitsu instructors, other fighters, my parents, my grandparents, all my relatives, really. And honestly, outside of, when you think of just MMA stuff, and obviously that's who I am, I guess. I mean, as a martial artist and what I do for a living and everything. And I'm very blessed and fortunate. But where that work ethic and that dream and that belief comes from, dude, is because I've come from working in the fields. So when I was a kid, my parents always used to take me to either their job or do another side job that they would do. So on top of already having a real job, my father or my mother would take me to go do, clean horse stables or clean someone's house. Or I since I was a little kid, I've had to hustle. So I know what that's like. And I've witnessed and experienced it through my parents, myself, and like aforementioned other aunts, uncles, and cousins. And more so that generation, they're actually younger than me. So I don't want to say they don't work as hard, but things have been easier for them. Likewise for myself, growing up in the United States compared to growing up in New Mexico, I do know how, the difference, but still being in my generation of how my parents were and how, they raised me, and being able to see both sides and learn and grow up from both sides, obviously more here than, down there. I've still always brought that with me. And that's just what I've always had. I mean, I never really got to see my parents or grandparents, honestly, that much because they were always working. Unless it was a party, and the majority of the times they were drinking. So on their days off, like to eat and drink. And then when the days they're working, from sunrise to sunset, that was a type of work ethic kind of, that I've always known. Or like work all day and come back and they got to work at home or do more things around the house, or go do another side job. And my grandfather was actually one of the first ones to ever give me, I think, money. So the first time I ever tasted being able to, oh, wow, I did this job and I worked this, and he paid me, or he told me what he would pay me, that felt good. So I always knew, I never expected and wanted handouts. I always knew I got to bust my ass for what I want. If I want to eat, if I want to drink, if I want anything, I got to do it. A lot of times I'd work and I wouldn't get paid, but I got a bag of chips and a soda. So if I want a bag of chips and a soda, I got to work for it, Or even if you want a ride to go to the park, they wouldn't let us go to the park if we go work with them, if we had time for that, So a lot of these memories and things that I carry on from my childhood is what I still have now. And that's the only reason I feel like you see me in the gym as much as you do or anything else, because that's all I know. I haven't known anything else. Even when I didn't want to, man, like working a regular time job, like, hey, want to work overtime? And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, no, fuck. I want to go home and sleep and eat. I'm like, man. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Well, what else am I gonna do, man? It's very stereotypical of me to put myself in a box, but that's just the way it is. It's just, that's the Mexican style, dude. That's all I do is just work. I don't know any other way. So any other way doesn't seem applicable to me, I guess. I don't understand how people think that they can go about, thinking, they go out without working hard, man. I mean, my grandfather worked when my parents and my family first crossed into the United States, and we were growing up here in the U.S. He worked at the same factory for 30 years, and he never missed a day. The only time that he took a half day is because he actually got some kind of bad liquid in his eyes. So they sent him home, but he went to work the next day. So I've put that in my kind of work ethic. I busted my knee at one job. So I'm like, all right, they sent me home. I can still go mow lawns to do something else for another job. So right from there to the hospital, I went to go work somewhere else when I should have been home resting. So I'm collecting workman's comp. That's nice. But I'm still hustling to make some more dollars, man, to pay bills and eat. And that saying, like, we're not here to just pay bills and die. So if I'm going to work my ass off this much, I want to, I don't know, somewhat live a luxurious life, or little luxuries, man. It doesn't take much to please me. Just being able to go out and get a Starbucks is happy to me. And out there in Canada, just being able to go out there and enjoy a Tim Hortons is all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've never been to Hawaii. So are you in Hawaii right now?
Mm-mm.
No? Shit. Well, I'd love to go to Hawaii someday.
San Diego.
San Diego, beautiful. So, I don't think I've ever probably driven through or around it, but I don't think I've ever maybe just hung out in it. But I know all of LA and SD, SoCal and stuff like that, and Inglewood. LA, definitely more familiar with LA. LA is actually the first, Inglewood is the first city when my father was 17, when he crossed into the United States. That's the first city he went to and lived for, I think, a year and a half until he had to come back and then go again. And then we, ended up in Illinois. So more than anything, man, my work ethic is, what has gotten me to where I am, why I am the way I am. It's just, that's just all I know. And then even pursuing this MMA dream, that's what I've come from. work 7, 8, 9 hours, 12 hours, just nonstop 6, 7 days a week, or whatever it is I got to do to whatever I got to do, whatever it takes, man, to make this dream come true. And so at the end of the day, when I drop the mic, or when I know, like when I'm retired, when I say I'm done, at least that's, I guess, how I wanted to cap all things off, to say I've done what I want to accomplish. I've achieved everything I want to achieve. I've seen what I want to see, and I can say, you know what I mean? It's been a good one, man. And now I just want to teach martial arts. Just, I don't know, maybe either get as ripped as I can or get as fat as I can. And, Kung Fu Panda, just teach martial arts.
Beautiful
Be a
share.
dragon warrior and teach everyone how to use their chi as well, too.
So
Beautiful.
you are a teacher and a mentor to many students and adults. How are you a good coach? What do you recommend for people wanting to be coaches? How have you developed proficiency in that area, and what have you learned from your coaches in your life to become a good one?
Always relating with the people, man. I guess it's definitely hard. This is why I don't want to be a gym owner, just a coach. Gym owner is a whole another story, man. A whole other thing you gotta do. But when you just, being able to teach people martial arts, I guess it's really like, just like anything, man. I keep the white belt mentality. So see, this is where, again, humility and no egos. For example, I've never scuba dived, and I want to. So when I go out and do something, I'll be honest with you, I'm terrified of the ocean. I love it to death, but I do realize it's a whole nother world, man. You know what I mean? And so people who do that, boating, fishing, and surfing, and scuba diving, and all the crazy stuff, they're the black belts, and that's why I got to listen to them. So for me, it'd be like starting all over again and doing like that. So when I know and realize that people come into the gym and they have no, jiu-jitsu background or any martial arts, any competitive, any kind of, background, you just got to relate with the students. And even, but the beautiful thing is that it's all the same language. So even if they don't speak English, you're able to connect with them, because this is for everybody, no matter what background or language you speak or history or, again, not only a pandemic, of an illness of what's going on right now, but again, rioting, looting, racism and criticism and judgment, people that are just all that stuff that's going out there in the world. You don't have that with martial arts. When you walk into any martial arts school, you know what I mean? Yeah, you just see a gang of people in gis or with gloves on or wrestling shoes on or whatever it is. But really, you got doctors, you got lawyers, you got, ex-felons even. Honestly, you had ex-felons. I was almost a felon, so I know. You got people that served in the military. You got Muslim, you got Buddhists, you got Jewish, you got Christians, you got atheists, you have non-binaries, you have gays, you have everything, right? Every background you can think of. And right there's no judgment, there's no hatred, there's no nothing, because it's peace and love in martial arts. Everyone's there for the same goal. All right, we might not be voting for the same person, or you not be voting at all, or you might not care, like, some people want, you should wear a mask, you don't wear a mask, whatever. But personally, I'm not there to judge or criticize anybody, whatever their faith, belief, color, gender preference. They're there to learn jiu-jitsu. So I'm there and happy to teach them jiu-jitsu all the same. You know what I mean? Like I would a kid, an adult. And throughout these years, learning from so many different people that were at any kind of high level, an amateur level, professional level, whether they fought or not, I've been able to just, again, be a sponge and absorb, like, okay, if I was to teach one day, like I've always been able to pinpoint, I'm not going to say in one ear out the other. If there were some things that were negative, I would just take, okay, me as a student, if I was someone who was probably a little more, I'm pretty sensitive. There's other people who are more sensitive. And I'm trying to think, I'm like, if I was to say that to someone who's probably more sensitive, they'd probably want to quit or not do martial arts again. So I'd have to understand that there's a certain way, you can speak or teach or, understand with someone, or and in somehow, some way, so that way they understand it better. Because some people, again, or whether they're musicians or race car drivers, I've been able to switch it up and been able to make it easier for them to learn, I guess, because it was hard for me to learn even in school, man, not just martial arts, because that's one thing in itself, right? The moves and memorizing the moves and the the names, the points, the rules, everything that has to do with MMA, anything. But just the relationship of how it can go with what you're already good at, I guess. So for those who, again, you know, were a basketball player, a swimmer, or a soccer player, ballet, whatever, you come in to learn martial arts for self-defense or to get in better shape, or you actually want to pursue it for fighting. There's all these different ways that you know, that I know how to teach people, I guess. You know, I know my crowd, and I know, you know, within age groups and within people, and again, within teaching so much and all over all these different places, not just seminars, but throughout being in Rufus Sport throughout these years, starting with teaching kids to adults, like it's, I'm going on, I think, 5 or 6 years teaching now. Yeah. I've been teaching since I was a purple belt. Going on 2 years now as a black belt now. So it's been quite some time, but I never envisioned myself even teaching as well too. That's something when I, you know, first started fighting, I was just like, I just not only wanted to be a world champion, but my goal is to be able to do what I love for a living. So if I can be in the gym all damn day, then that's my dream. That's my goal. Awesome. But now seeing is how, okay, if I can teach and that also enables me to put food on the table, all right, great. Then that helps too. But that was never my goal, you know, that was never like one day I want to be the best coach in the world, the best teacher in the world. If people call me or consider me that, I appreciate it. But I always feel like there's better. But I mean, I just like to, even in that, you know, inside the psyche of other great athletes, I guess, basketball players, football players, soccer players, boxers, MMA fighters, just coaches, anyone, I've always taken something that I can just use and just be like, all right, wow, like that's something that one day maybe I can tell a new white belt too, or another young MMA fighter too, you know, a young grasshopper. And, you know, we're the only people who understand that. Most people don't know what young grasshopper means, you know what I mean? Not this generation, not this generation. So yeah, I'd have to explain that to them too. But, you know, it's, I'm grateful for it all, man. You know, I'm grateful for it all around all the people that I've met in my life. And I give the respect to respect is due. You know, if like for example, Coach Giuseppe Tinitali, who back in '92 was doing this when I was 1.5, 2 years old. So see, even though, okay, if he never fought on a high professional mixed martial arts level like I have, well, I've never done what he's done, but it's done back in their day. So I still, no matter what, likewise with anyone in jiu-jitsu or any martial art, any, you know, form of combat or any sport in general, you know, I'm always, you know, I'm always happy and keep the open mind to learn. St. Pierre once said, you know, keeping the wipe up mentality. I can learn from anything, from anyone at any given time. So even when someone's showing me something working on a car, I'm like, I want to learn. So that way I don't need to pay to do it. I do it myself. You know, that's something that I've always learned growing as a kid too. I'm like, how is it possible? You know, I got parents who can't even speak English and never went to school a day in their life, but we built a whole house. Be able to come here and be able to, you know what I mean, rebuild a car and be able to do all these things. I'm like, I want to know, how is that possible? No education ever in their lives. And I'm like, wow, look what they were able to just do just now. So that same mindset, that same work ethic has enabled me to do the same, I guess, you know, with what in my craft.
Love that.
So as we wind up, we have a few more questions, but you've had quite the journey of highs and lows and so much learning in the process along the path. What has been your greatest life lesson learned on the journey so far that you'd love to share to our listeners, to your students, to all those you interact? What has been your greatest life lesson?
I got to go with as of late. I'm going to have to be 100% honest, man. Anything that's going up, it's probably the t-shirt that I'm wearing right now. Hakuna Matata.
Yes.
It means no worries, man. And this life is too short. This life is too sweet. And whatever it is that you want to go out and accomplish and do in your life, go out there and do it while you have the chance. Because, I don't know, man, it seems like it's getting worse than it's getting better. And that, you know, breaks my heart to say that. But no matter what, all we can do is stay positive. And I would, my greatest life lesson is just no matter what, always spread peace and love and positivity, man, and really keep your heart and mind open. Just always understand that. Like, obviously, yeah, you know, they say protect your heart and your mind and your soul, to not just let anyone in there, because again, it's not good for your health, any kind of health, right? Your mental health, spiritual health, physical health. Letting in toxic, negative people is no good. But when you keep that open mind too, a lot of times it teaches you for a lesson. So the negative people or negative things that I've had to experience in my life, all right, I learned from those. Thankfully, those are blessings in disguise. You have to take that as something that's good for you too, you know, because sometimes, again, you know, I'm old fashioned. Sometimes you need a slap on the wrist to understand, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have done that. You learn from your mistakes. You pick yourself up. You got to cry it out. You got to fight it out. You got to yell it out, whatever it is that you got to do. But in doing so and in doing that, you're going to grow and you're going to learn. And in suffering, that builds character, man. And with that as well, too, perseverance. So you will persevere and you will overcome, and you can accomplish anything that you want in this life. And you can do whatever it is that you want to do in this life, too. And no matter what as well, too, you always have to choose to be happy. That's how it is to be. I don't understand that whether if I was Jeff Bezos or if I was the dude, you know what I mean, someone on the street right now asking for help, why be upset? Why I should still just be. I've always chosen to think of the positives, not just, okay, the glass is half full or half empty, or the grass is greener on the other side. None of that kind of shit. Really just be happy. Like, you know what, man, I got both my hands, I got both my legs, I got my health, I got my brain, I got my this, I got my that. I'm like, that's a start. You know what I mean? Now, even if I can go work at McDonald's, that's not my dream, but if I got to do what I got to do, you know what I mean? At least I can say most people can't even do that, you know? So, you know, whatever it is that I got to do to make my dreams or to make myself happy, right? Whatever just makes you happy. That's the truth. And if people knock Dennis Rodman, so if dyeing your hair pink makes you happy, dye your hair pink, man. It's their hair, it's not your hair.
Totally.
You know, if moving to Alaska or Thailand, whatever, you know what I mean, and selling coconuts is your dream, then all right, yeah. Dude, like, why are you gonna knock someone for that?
Yeah.
You know, like, call me, man, invite me when you get a house or something, you know, let's train out there or whatever. Like, God bless you, man. Like, for real. Like, again, with this pandemic, right, and all this crisis, this craziness that's going on in the world. It's best to always, you know, you just listen and follow your heart and learn, you know, the bad things, you learn from them. The good things, you keep that close with you, and that's something that you'll always carry with you. So that's something that I've always been able to have with me. The bad and the negative, again, the metamorphosis. So again, not just float like a butterfly, right, but also the metamorphosis of a butterfly. Like, that was my past, that was my thing, and now I float away from that, man. Like, I see the growth and the wisdom and experiences that I've been able to learn from, okay, the 19-year-old me, the 21-year-old me, the 22, 25, 24, and now I'm going to be 30. And then again, that's what, you know, it can carry on. If I live to see 40, same thing, another 10 years of experience in life that I'm able to share with people, you know? So I feel like that's a great lesson. And that's something that people should always, or could, if that helps, to take with them to battle any fear, any anxiety, any worry, or any doubt in their mind. You know, follow your dreams. What makes you happy? What makes your heart happy? What makes you excited to wake up in the morning? What makes you sleep well at night, knowing like, yeah, or today, even if it was a rough one, like, damn, all right, tomorrow, you know what I mean? At least I get another chance tomorrow. So be thankful for that. Because most people don't even get to wake up and see tomorrow, man. You know, so
Totally.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
And I just love what you said about keeping your heart and your head open, because so often when we get hurt in whatever way it is, we fail or somebody hurts us or we get hurt by what's going on in the world, that people tend to close themselves off, and then they close themselves off to all of the goodness that could ever come to them because they just don't allow that channel to be open anymore. And as you do get hurt, you learn those lessons to not let those types of people into your channel, but continue to let the other positivity, the other love in, and you just keep learning and learning and growing. And then soon you're just super open with all of the love and happiness and no worries that you could ever dream of. And I always do my best to release any fear or worry about anything that's going on, because as you said, we literally are so fortunate. We are the top 1% of the world. Like, there's so many people on this planet, and the fact that we got to be born into the lives that we are living right now is like, I don't even know what happened to deserve that, you know? So that was just beautiful.
So Taiha, your last question, and then I have my last question.
Okay, so I don't know if you're going to say the same thing for this, but maybe in 3 words, how would you describe the experience you're having on this earth?
Having this,
or a phrase.
Well, like, really, honestly, I'll have to say it. I guess what the first 3 that come to mind, they're huge and they're important. I think they'll hit hard, but blessed, fortunate, and grateful. You know, man. Even if I was still fighting for free, you know, that's something that, you know, it'd be really hard to deal with. You know what I mean? Really hard to do. I just remember my days, you know, as an amateur, you don't get paid to fight or whatever, but I've always just been grateful for the opportunity, grateful that that was able to happen to me. You know, you hit the nail on the head. Like, man, how not unlucky, but how fortunate that I was able to be born into this life and live this life and experience what I've experienced and learn from it and be able to help others not make those mistakes, but also, I guess, maybe, you know, learn and grow from those same mistakes or accomplish their dreams or whatever it is. And yeah, that's truly what I feel like I'm on that platform for. And so the 3, you know, those 3 words is just blessed. I am very, very blessed. Like, what did I do to deserve, you know, being able to even just talk to you guys right now, to not even financial security, not material luxuries, not any of the life or lifestyle, you know, because I really don't live, like, I feel at least, that kind of a crazy exotic lifestyle. What most people think an MMA fighter is. I was in the gym all morning, about to go back to the gym again, you know. So I mean, whoever's, you know what I mean, wants that life, then awesome, it's good. That means you want to make it to that level too. But I look how blessed and fortunate I am, you know, to have not only coaches but parents trust that I to teach their kids. You know, that's something that I'm grateful for, because that's a big thing now. You know, not even I was a couple of years ago, but now in this day and age, the way you see the world getting now, even more, that's a big responsibility and a big role I feel like I have. So yeah, you know what I mean? I got to be smart, wise, and good for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way you know what I mean? People always ask me if I'll have kids, and honestly, I don't know. And I have enough already to deal with already, because that's how I see them. I see those kids more than I see my family members. So it's pretty crazy, you know? Like, I've seen most of these kids too grow up. Some of these kids are bigger than me now. So I see that as a blessing, how fortunate I am to be blessed, you know, to see and witness that, to be in their corners because they're still sticking with martial arts, and to train with them, and they're helping me get better as well too. So it's like, we're all, wow, like, you all see this happening at Rufus Sport right before your eyes, and everyone is in there training, getting better as well too. So I'm very grateful for that too. You know, I don't feel like this is good, you know, because I feel like I've wasted no time in my life or done anything you know, like, or stupid or whatever. I'm like, wow, everything that I had is, you know, led me to this point, to this day, this exact very moment, for a reason. And what a great opportunity, you know, that I've had. I'm blessed and I'm grateful and fortunate to be able to talk to you beautiful people here today. So.
Absolutely. So let's fast forward to your 85-year-old self. What is the legacy you've left behind as you move towards the end of this reality?
85. Well, I always tell the kids too. I'm like, kids, even like, let me show you. When I'm an old man like this, I'm like, hold my cane. I'm like, and I'll still show you how it's done. So hopefully, still doing that. Still doing, like teaching kids and teaching adults or whatever. Hold my cane, watch me, and this is how it's done. You know what I mean? But if not, have a really long beard all the way down to the ground, like in Mortal Kombat, or like a really wise teacher and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But honestly, man, hopefully, I still be feeling the same way. Be blessed and grateful and fortunate that I had 85 years of life, and I want to have those dreams accomplished, man. The fact that, why did I enter mixed martial arts? Well, the main reason why is because I wanted to be a world champion. There's no other reason. Not money, not just fighting in the UFC or in Bellator or any big promotion, not women, not fighting on TV. Some people just want to fight on TV, dude. Some people just I want to be on TV. I want to be on TV. I didn't give a damn if no one saw my fight or every single person on the entire planet saw my fight. No matter what, I was going to fight to win. That's how I felt. Like I was just going to do it for me because that's what I wanted, and I wanted to win. So I knew that when I was going to enter this, my goal before my time is done, I want to be a world champion. So, I'm 85 years old, a retired champion, someone who left a great legacy behind, and now a Hall of Famer and a legend, man. Someone who's, I'm not going to say the whole world or people wanting to seek out my martial arts knowledge, I guess, or teachings or whatever. Not one of them is that, because that's, again, I don't know, goals and dreams and things like that might change, over the years. But as of right now, that's not, I guess, my main or number one goal or visioning, you know what I mean? Because I'm the type of person to just help somebody. I don't have a chip on my shoulder to be like, oh, hey, no, let me show you how to do this kick, right? If someone else wants to show this person how to do it, I'm going to be like, God bless them. Like, let this person help them, like their teaching skills, help that other person, as opposed to, I'm not going to overstep my boundaries and think, oh, hey, listen to me and do that. You know what I mean? I'll just be like, okay, I'm working on my kick right now or my certain whatever, my grappling move, whatever, So
Absolutely.
I don't see being like, hey, be like one of the best coaches in the world, be our best jiu-jitsu instructors or whatever. I just see myself as being like, oh, where's this legend of this champ now? Retired on a beach, living by the ocean, all nice and brown with his hair probably really long or really short. I don't know. Now, either really strong or really fat and just, again, Hakuna Matata thing, dude. Drinking out of a coconut and just like kicking my feet up and just on a hammock. And like, you know what? I train in the morning and maybe I'll train at night, or you know what? I just, Zen Buddhism all morning, just praying and meditating and enjoying life all morning. And I enjoy the simple things, man. So when I walk my dog through the park, when I go to a river, when I go to a lake around here, when I go to the beach, I live for the simple things. So that's why I definitely I got to be by water. I want to be by an ocean.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I could picture this 85-year-old. Taiha, you could picture him. And I want you to picture this 85-year-old legend, world champion in your mind right now, Emmanuel. And we're going to bring it back to the now, and he's going to come with a message. What does that 85-year-old Hall of Famer, world champion on the beach tell you right now?
Live your fucking life. Live your fucking life. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're so grateful to have you on this call. Where can people find you? You're going to be fighting in the quarterfinal, the second round of the Bellator Featherweight Grand Prix. You don't know when that fight is yet, I don't believe. But where can they find as you wait for that fight, as they wait to see you victorious in that fight? Where can they find you? Your social media? You're always posting great stuff on there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just to close out with a little thing too, if anyone wants any stuff like that, follow me on matadorsanchez.com, on Instagram, and at El Matador 145 on Twitter, and just Matador fan page for Emmanuel Sanchez on Facebook. But a lot of stuff that I share, man, and for everyone else to hear too, if it helps encourages you, great, because a lot of the stuff that I share, some people might think, sometimes, I don't know if they know me personally or anything, they're just like, whoa, who's he sending this towards? Or that's just something that's going on through my mind, I guess, or in my heart. So if it helps encourage and motivate me, or if it, it somehow in some way inspired me in my life, I feel like maybe it could do the same for you. So that's why I just go on like on a rampage of always just, hey, wow, this post, hey, that post, hey, this video, that video, or you know what I mean, etc. And I'll just have a full story of nothing but memes and pictures or whatever, of something that, whatever quote or whatever, picture. And I'll just see it as, hey, you know what? It inspired me. And I could be eating a sandwich or something. I'd be like, hey, wow, I like this picture. I'm going to share it. I could be, I don't know, running and be like, oh, wow, I like this video. Let me share it. Like, I could be on my way to bed. I'm like, hey, you know what? I like this video. Someone might see it before they go to sleep too, Instagramming like me or something like that, So it's just, or they might wake up the next day and then when they BS and look on their social media stuff, that might just, it could happen. I just feel like throughout the universe and throughout life, whoever, when you're connected to people, you can take some form of, again, some encouragement, some inspiration, some motivation on that. So that's why I always just try to be positive, always spreading peace, love, and positivity.
Peace, love.
Exactly, dude. Peace, love, and positivity.
Peace, love, and positivity.
Hakuna Matata always, bro. Always.
Peace, love, positivity, Hakuna Matata. You got to get coaching, so let's bring it in for a virtual fist bump.
Bye, guys. Yes.
See you later. Thank you
so much for this conversation. I really appreciated it, and I learned so much from you, and I hope to see you as a world champ soon. I know it's going to happen, and I hope to connect with you again soon.
Thank you so much. Hope so as well.
Thank you.
Peace and love, everybody. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you, guys.